In the last two lectures, we learned what is a state and why state management is required in an application. Now in this lecture, we are going to have a brief introduction to NgRx library. NgRx library is used for managing state in an Angular application. And from the next lecture, we will start creating our Angular application and we will start managing states using NgRx in that Angular application. So let's first understand what is NgRx. So NgRx is a reactive state management library for Angular and it is heavily inspired by the Redux pattern. So Redux is also a pattern which is used for state management in React applications. And NgRx is heavily inspired by that Redux pattern. NgRx's primary purpose is to provide a structured, predictable, and scalable way to manage the data of an Angular application. And it is particularly useful for medium to large scale applications where managing state across many components can become complex and difficult to maintain. NgRx basically centralizes your application state into single immutable store. So this term store, we are going to use it a lot. And basically what this store means is this store is going to keep all the states of your application which you might want to use in multiple places of your Angular application, in multiple components of your Angular application. So for example, is loading state. You might want to use is loading state in multiple components of your Angular application. So that state will be kept inside a store, inside an NgRx store. In the same way, the logged user data is a state which you might want to use in multiple components of your Angular application. So that state will also be available in the NgRx store. So any data, any state which your Angular application might need, we are going to keep it in the NgRx store. And instead of components managing their own local state or passing data through a convolution chain of input and output properties, since all the states are available in a single place, in a single store, any component which needs to use a state, it can access it from that store. So in this way, we do not have to pass data from one component to another component using input-output properties or by using services. The components can directly interact with the store and they can use any state available inside this store in that component. And this provides a clear unidirectional data flow. So data flows from the store to that component which wants to use a state from that store. Now, when we use NgRx for state management in an Angular application, it uses few concepts, few core principles. So first we talked about store. The store is the place where all the state of the Angular application will be kept. Now remember that in this store, we only keep those states which are global states, which can be used in multiple components. If we have a state which is created and used in a single component, if it is not being used outside of that component where it is created, then we don't need to keep that state in this store. Only those states which can be used in multiple components, we keep it in this store. So this store is the single source of truth of your entire application state. All the state of your application, which can be used in multiple components, they are kept inside this store. And it is a single JavaScript object. So this store is nothing but a JavaScript object, and that JavaScript object contains all the state of our Angular application as its properties. So all the components which wants to access a state from this store, they can access this store object. Then we have actions. Actions are nothing but they are plain objects that describes unique events that have occurred in the application. So for example, when the add to cart button is clicked or when the data is successfully fetched from the backend API. So action tells something has happened. You can think of an action like an event. And that event gets handled. That action, when it is dispatched, it gets handled by the reducers or effects based on what type of action we are handling. So reducers are pure functions that takes the current state and an action and it returns a new immutable state. Remember that a state in a store cannot be mutated. We can only replace that state with a new state, but we cannot change the original state. So that's why we say that reducer function, it takes the current state and it returns a new immutable state. And that new immutable state, it replaces the current state. So now this new state becomes the current state. And reducers are the only functions allowed to change the state. No one else can change the state. If you want to change the state, then you need to use a reducer function to change the state. Okay, so we have store, which keeps all the state of our application. We have actions, which is like an event, and this event tells that something has happened and a state needs to be changed. And then we have reducers, which are pure functions which is responsible for changing the state. And remember that the reducers are the only one who can change the state. Apart from these three, we also have selectors. Selectors are pure functions used by components to efficiently retrieve specific slice of data from the store. So as I mentioned, the store is the one which is going to keep all the states. So in the store, let's say we have a user state, we have product state, we have, let's say, order state, etc. But one component is only interested in, let's say, product state. It is not interested in order state or in the user state. It is only interested in product state. So selector helps us select only a specific data, a specific state from the store. And this prevents component from re-rendering unless the exact data they depend on has changed. Now, this statement might not make any sense right now to you, but you will understand this practically in our coming lectures. Then we have effects. Effects is a framework for handling side effects. For example, making API calls, routing, or interacting with database, etc. So if we have a state, let's say the user state, whose data we want to read from the backend, then for that we need to create an effect, because since we want to make an HTTP call to the backend, that task should be handled by an effect, because HTTP call is a side effect. So effects are used for handling any side effects in our application. Now again, if this does not make any sense right now, don't worry. We are going to learn about it in great detail in our coming lectures. And there, it will become more clear what is a side effect and why we should use effects for handling side effect. So effects listen for actions. So just like reducers, effects also listens for actions. Now, some actions can be handled by reducer, but some actions which involves a side effect like making an API call, that will be handled by effects. Okay, but effects internally also will have to call an action which will invoke a reducer function, because as I mentioned, only a reducer function can change the state. So effects listen for actions, it performs asynchronous operations and then dispatches a new action to update the state with the result. So these are the 5 important concepts of NgRx to start working with state management in Angular. We also have other libraries, like we have NgRx data, NgRx entity, NgRx router store. So these are the extra libraries which NgRx provides for state management. And that also we are going to cover in this course. Now, as I mentioned, NgRx library, it consists of different components. You can say it consists of different libraries. So we have NgRx store, which is the most basic library we need in order to implement state management. And then we also have NgRx effect. This is another library which we need when we want to handle side effects in our Angular application. So these two are most important one. After that, we have router store for handling router state. We have NgRx entity. We have NgRx data. So let's briefly talk about each of them one by one. And let's start with NgRx store. So NgRx store is used to manage in-memory state with the help of action and reducer. And when something happens on the UI, an action is dispatched. And a reducer function listens for a dispatched action, and when that happens, it updates the state accordingly. So if we are only using NgRx store, we can do in-memory state management with the help of action and reducers. But if in our Angular application, if something involves side effects like making an HTTP call or storing something in the local storage, those things cannot be handled just by using NgRx store. Then we need NgRx effect. So NgRx effect is another library, and we use NgRx effect to perform side effects in the application like the HTTP calls, storing data in the local storage, etc. So once a side effect is handled, what it does is it dispatches a new action, and we will have a reducer function which will listen for that dispatched action, and it will update the state accordingly with the data which we have fetched from backend API, from the backend database. So any side effect which we want to handle in our Angular application, for that we will have to use NgRx effect. And as I said, NgRx store and NgRx effect are the two important libraries. After that, we have NgRx router store. NgRx router store is used to store router data like the route parameters or query strings or the currently active route URL, etc. in the store. So these data are stored as state. And it allows us to get the currently active route data directly from the store. For that, we do not need to inject an instance of activated route in the component where we want to get the details of currently active route. We can directly read it from the store, and that is possible with the help of router store. Then we have NgRx entity. NgRx entity is used to store state as an entity. For example, let's say we have products data, user data, courses data, etc. These data can be stored as an entity. The other states like the isLoading state or the counter state, these are not entities. We cannot store it like an entity. Entity is something on which we can perform CRUD operation. So isLoading is not an entity because on isLoading we cannot perform a CRUD operation. But user, products, orders, courses, these can be entities because on these we can perform CRUD operation. We can create a new course, we can delete a new course, we can update a course detail, and we can fetch all the courses from the backend. Right. So whenever we want to perform CRUD operation on an entity, we will store that state data as an entity. That can be done with the help of NgRx entity. And when we store the state data as an entity, it makes CRUD operations simpler by reducing the amount of code we need to write for reducer and selector. And it also optimizes the performance of the application by making data query from the state faster. Now, all this we will learn in great detail when we will start learning about NgRx entity. And finally, we have NgRx data. NgRx data is also used to store state as an entity. For example, you can store product, user, courses, etc. as an entity. And NgRx data completely removes the need of actions, reducers, and selectors. Instead, NgRx data provides us reducers, actions, and selectors behind the scenes. We do not have to create our own actions, reducers, and selectors. All this will happen behind the scenes with the help of NgRx data. And it also provides in built-in methods for performing CRUD operation on the entities and updating the state. So basically, when we will use NgRx data, it will make the development quite faster because we do not have to create our actions, reducers, selectors, etc. And we are also going to use the built-in methods provided by NgRx data to perform CRUD operation. So here the developer's life become easier and the development becomes faster. Apart from these 5 libraries, we are also going to learn about NgRx DevTools in this course, which will help us debug the current state of our application. So, in summary, we can say that NgRx provides an efficient way of managing state in your application, and it provides scalability, flexibility, and better performance. NgRx enforces a clear separation between the UI, business logic, and side effects. And this leads to more organized, maintainable, and testable code base. So this was a very high level overview of NgRx library, what it is, and why we should use it for state management in an Angular application. Remember that NgRx is highly inspired by Redux pattern in React for state management. So the logic and the flow is going to be similar here also. So if you have any experience with React and Redux, then it is going to be very easier for you to understand how NgRx works for state management in Angular. But if not, don't worry. I have designed this course in such a way that even a complete beginner can understand what is going on. So this course is going to be very beginner friendly. And from the next lecture, we are going to start the practical implementation. So in the next lecture, we will start with creating an Angular application, and then we will keep on going and start adding states and managing states using NgRx library. So this was a very high level overview of what NgRx is. If you have any questions from this lecture, then feel free to ask it. Thank you for listening and have a great day.